Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? My name is Matt Jarbo. Welcome back to 3 Buck Theater, and this is my review of 1993's Hocus Pocus. I know, reviewing a 27-year-old movie, clearly I understand what the YouTube algorithm wants, but in reality, this movie has right now been seeing a massive resurgence, not only in popularity, but profitability. The movie was just released in 4K a couple weeks ago. It's been selling quite well. It's also up on Disney Plus, where it's been watched a number of times this month so far. And it currently, I believe, it's not sitting on the top of the box office, but it did do very well in regards to its new box office performance just, I think, last week versus when it came out in 1993 and was considered a commercial flop. This movie has done a lot to stand the test of time, and I wanted to give my rundowns on seeing it as an adult again from when I first saw it when I was 11 years old. So the movie, as we all know the story, the Sanderson sisters are witches in 1693 Boston. They end up consuming the soul of Emily Binks, a young girl. They turn her brother Zachariah into a cat, and they ultimately get hanged, but before they do, they put a curse on the town, and they claim that they're going to come back. And of course, fast forward 300 years later, where a kid named Max, who recently moved to Salem from Los Angeles, ignites the black flame on the candle and brings back the witches for a night of mayhem. And yeah, the story's pretty cool. The setup's pretty cool. The effects actually have held up relatively well, especially the CG on Binks the cat. And of course, just it's fun to go back and watch Bette Midler, Kathy Najimy, and Sarah Jessica Parker play these roles again. Even though the movie is very ham-fisted, it's very kind of dumb in certain areas. That's kind of the whole point. There's even this really weird musical number thrown in that makes quite literally no sense, even though like, it just makes no sense. It's just they have a musical number, probably because that was in Bette Midler's contract, because that's what most people know Bette Midler as, is being a musician. And so that's kind of funny. But the movie itself, again, it's aged particularly well. You know, not to say that it's better than it was when I was a kid. There are a number of eye-rolling moments in the movie, but at the end of it, I was still having a good time watching it. Both of my daughters seemed to enjoy it. They had absolutely no idea what's going on. I still have a couple flaws or a couple things like with the story that do get a little bit on the annoying side, like the whole thing with Billy, the zombie that comes back, this the henchman for Bette Midler. All to just, as soon as he grabs the kid to cut out his stitches and just go like, "You wench, go to hell, you wench." But what's funny about that is the actor in that role is Doug Jones, who is Commander Saru in Star Trek Discovery, as well as Abe in the Hellboy movies. And I actually have worked with Doug Jones on a couple of different productions over the years, and the dude is like the nicest guy I've ever met. So watching one of his earlier works, this is right around the time he was in Batman Returns as one of the Penguin's henchmen, as well as the Moon Man in the McDonald's ads back in the day. It's always cool to go back and watch the beginnings of the career, simply because I thought that was pretty awesome. And actually, looking at this movie again, I was trying to see if there were any other actors that were in this movie that were maybe unknown at the time. And the truth of the matter is, there's not. There's only about 38 people actually listed on the IMDb cast, and none of them really, outside of, you know, clearly Sarah Jessica Parker and Kathy Najimy and Bette Midler and Doug Jones, really went on to like long live in acting. Vanessa Shaw is still around doing some stuff on TV. Thora Birch retired for a number of years, but she's back now, I think, on The Walking Dead. You know, and it's weird to look at Thora Birch to realize that we were the same age when that movie was shot. So that's kind of weird just in general. Yeah, and there's like Gary Marshall and Penny Marshall, brother and sister duo, showing up as a husband and wife. A little bit odd, but still funny because I love Gary Marshall and I love Penny Marshall. So I was like, I totally forgot they were both in the movie, and that really weird, him dressed as Satan and the witches going and succumbing to him. It could have been a real interesting Witches of Eastwick moment, which is what I think it was kind of playing off of. If you've never seen the Cher, Michelle Pfeiffer, Susan Sarandon, Jack Nicholson Witches of Eastwick, oh man, you are you are in for a hell of a movie. That's a movie a 5-year-old me should never have seen, but I did, and I've never looked at cherry pits the same way ever again. However, this movie is definitely a little bit on the adult side at times, which I love it when jokes go over my head as a kid, but I end up picking them up when I'm an adult. So in this case, this bus driver comes on up, and this bus driver's all like, hey, I'm a bus, I'm gonna take you to what you desire, and then Bette Midler goes, we desire children. And he just simply goes, and this is the line, he just goes, it might take me a few chimes, but I'll get there. And I'm like, oh my God, he's talking about it. It's in the movie. And even the whole thing surrounding the candle and the black flame is that a virgin lights the candle. And I just have a feeling that bit was taken predominantly from Monster Squad, which came out about 5 years prior. I just feel like it was ripped right from that movie. And in that regard, though, it's like Max is a virgin. He lights the candle. At one point, they talk to this officer. The officer asks if he's a virgin, and he's like, should I have it like tattooed on my forehead or something? Like, it's this running gag in the movie that a high schooler hasn't had sex yet. Right? That's a bit of a weird joke in a Disney kids film. I understand, again, there are some adult themes in this, like when they run across the mom and the mom is dressed up as Madonna with the pine cone boobs, or the cone boobs. And that was a bit sexual for, again, a 1993 kids movie. And even the last line of the film, as Zachary and Emily are walking away into the sunset, he says, sorry it took so long. I had to wait 300 years for a virgin to light a candle. That was the last line in the movie. Which is just one of those weird things to me where I'm like, that's the last line in this movie. You guys are really playing up the virgin card here. Like, you could say it once and be done with it, but it was like this, it was meant to be a running gag throughout this film. And I don't really feel that the joke landed all that well. I'm not against it. I'm not being prudish, but I just didn't really think it was that funny. But that being said, it still very much is a fun movie to watch. It was entertaining, albeit more dumb than I remember, but that's okay. The intended audience has very much stuck with it over the years. They just announced a Hocus Pocus 2, I think last year. We don't know what's going on with that, with the whole situation with Rona, but it is back, and it is bigger now probably than ever, which is a cool thing about where we are right now with 2020 and the current state of the pandemic. It allows us to go back and watch these older movies and then fall in love with them all over again. And so, of course, Hocus Pocus is one that you should watch with your family or watch by yourself with your friends. It's a good romp down nostalgia lane. It definitely felt like an early 90s kids movie to me, and I'm not against that. In fact, I kind of feel like going back and revisiting some more movies from my childhood, like The Sandlot, or what was that one where it was like the roller skate one where they like the skateboarding one, but the surfer from LA has to skateboard, and it's a weird movie, but I saw it a bunch as a kid. Like Seth Green is in it. I don't know. But anyway, what did you guys think about Hocus Pocus? Let me know down in the comment section. I'll talk to you guys all later. And if this is one that you'd like to see me and a friend discuss on Podio Commentary, like a more in-depth discussion, let me know down in the comment section as well. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day. Thank you again, and peace out.